Tuesday teaching tip. Today's tip is part 3 in a series of Introduction to Writer's Workshop lessons that I've been sharing with you. Okay, so with Writer's Workshop, know that you can use these lessons from K to 12, and you can also teach multiple age children with the same lesson. Now each one of them will get something different out of the lesson, and of course they're going to be different as opposed to what their writing samples look like and such. And so today's lesson, I'm going to go over a little bit about what we've done in the past, our previous lessons. We talked about setting up a Writer's Workshop journal, a little bit about organization. One of the lessons we talked about was gathering ideas to write about, and another was front loading, in which we used some mentor texts, so some books in the genre of which we'll be writing. I read 3. I suggest to read 3 to 5 books in the genre in which you'll be writing, and we had these 3 that I've been sharing with you, and this one here. Once you've read 3 to 5 books in that particular genre in which you're studying, you then look at the structure of those books, the structure of those writings, and how you as a writer, how your student, your child as a writer will structure theirs as well. That way they have something to hold on to. These are called anchor charts. So you're going to start an anchor chart with them in their notebook. So this is a very simple genre, personal narratives, in that one of my students one year said, oh, well, these books are all the same. They all start, they all tell you about something that happened, and they all end. So exactly, so it's a story that starts, it tells you about something that happened, and then it ends. And so we trace our hand, and I'm going to hold this other sheet up for, this gets kind of heavy here. And I write their idea of what the structure is. Some stuff happens here. So it begins, some stuff happens, and it ends. So then we fill in, okay, well it starts or it begins. This is called our beginning or our introduction. Then the stuff that happens is like the meat of the story, the details in our story. And those are the middle parts of our story, the details that happen. And then our ending or our conclusion. So that's a basic personal narrative story structure. Now, of course, when you get older and when you do this lesson again later on, maybe the following year, or again sometime in mid-year, end of the year, then you start talking about a little bit more detailed the structures, maybe some transitions. Maybe you talk about different introductions and different endings, because a lot of the kids, they'll start off with one day. And that's okay at the beginning. You let them do that, and then you can explore some better or some more interesting ways to start their stories. And then with the endings, the most familiar for them is the end or and they lived happily ever after. And sometimes that's not as an exciting of an ending. So again, you explore through Writer's Workshop lessons how to find better endings, more exciting endings to your story, to wrap things up, to tie things all together. So it's as simple as that. This is a structure lesson on personal narratives. Now, when you talk about structure lessons with a biography or nonfiction, it gets very different, and the structure looks different. And those are some of the things that I share with you also in the Writer's Workshop. So if you're interested, if you want to look back at some of the previous lessons that I've shared with you before, you can go to our YouTube channel. So click on that YouTube icon, and you'll see sample lesson 1, 2, and today's lesson 3 if you needed to review it. And I will have a couple more lessons on Introduction to Writer's Workshop, and then I'll be moving on to introduction lessons for Reader's Workshop. And I hope to see you guys back here next Tuesday.